Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Intelligent Moron with Alex Silva. Today is Thursday, April 14th. It was a hot one this past week. I don't know if you guys felt it around the country, wherever you lived. I'm not sure, but it was hot last week. Like really, really scorching hot. And now, this week, it cooled down. Now, I'm not a scientist, I'm not a meteorologist, I'm not a climatologist, I'm nothing like that. But I would say that was weird. That was odd. Now I'm happy that it is back to cooler weather for the time being. But, I mean, that was rough, right? That was like priming us for summer, I feel like. I feel like this summer's going to be hot as heck. Or hot as HE double hockey stick. Really, really hot, actually. I feel like it's going to be a warm, warm summer. And that one day last week, I believe it was Thursday, that felt incredibly, incredibly hot. I think it reached 96 in California, some places. I got to tell you, man, I'm not ready for 110 plus. Can you imagine that? I don't want to, but, it's coming, so we might as well prepare, right? Like, the fact that we have weather that can reach 110, 111, 100, plus temperatures, and we survive in it. And we just decide, what, we're going to live here. We're going to plop our ass here, set up our houses, build shit, and we'll live here, right? For the beauty of technology, we have air conditioning and, heating also that, we can live anywhere we want as human beings. Now, if we were a different species like I don't know, like a turtle or a lizard or a squirrel or something, we couldn't necessarily do that at our luxury. We would have to do this thing called evolve to live in that climate. Like, I was watching a lot of, like, documentaries on, like, Netflix and Disney Plus, and even some videos on YouTube of how, like, animals today have evolved pretty quickly to adapt to the way or how they, their surroundings. Like, I believe that there's this rodent in California that's in, like, the mountain ranges that has developed a certain, like, body temperature, what's the word? Cumulator. He maintains a certain body temperature because he can't get, he can't be too low. He's got to be high up in elevation because, they were forced there because of, certain things that happened. They had to travel higher. And if they go lower, when it gets warmer, they pretty much can't live there. So they have to live in this certain, elevation in order to live. And I just thought that was, kind of insane because, they're animals. They're not smart like we are. They don't have thumbs and they can't make shit. They just got to survive naturally through evolution and stuff like that. It's really bizarre if you think about it. I mean, like imagine like if a snake like grew arms and grew legs and through evolution. Like, was a snake a lizard first? I don't know. I have no idea. Kind of, blows my mind. Some things, but hot. It's been hot, but it's cool now. Thank Christ. I hope, everybody out there is keeping cool, keeping, not hot, because I don't know if you guys turn on your air conditioning on that day or you just kind of sweated it out and like, you know what, let's just tough it out. It's just 1 day, 1 or 2 days out of this week. It's going to cool right back down. Me, personally, put that AC on for a day. It was fine. It wasn't too bad. Then after that, I got cold. I'm like, oh shit, do we need the heater on now? Like, it's this cold. But, actual, like, days, like clear skies, though, like, it's been pretty nice. It's been pretty nice, beautiful days lately. That's kind of like what you expect, though, in the month of April, right? Like, you would kind of expect, like, spring. You would hope that it would stay springy, and it is, like, pretty springy right now. And there hasn't been a whole lot of rain. There's been maybe a day or two here and there. Not like a, ton of like April showers, but it's been pretty nice except for a few hot days in springtime in California. Um, but it just feels like it's, we're going to be on the brink of summer now. Like, I just feel like this year's spring, I haven't really, felt like I've never really, like, been like, oh, beautiful spring day. Or aren't you glad that it's spring? It's just like, no, I mean, like, one day it's hot, one day it's cold, and it's just like, yeah, this is April now. This is just how it is. In California, we don't really have other seasons besides summer and winter. Like we can differentiate like the seasons, pretty easily. Those seasons, winter and summer, easily. Summer is boiling hot, dry as an oven, hot. Stuff melts outside. You can't even go outside. Sometimes it just feels like terrible out there. Winter feels nice. I love the winter. Rains for the most part, colder, overcast. Not a whole lot of rain. Sometimes we get a buckets, but other times it's not that much. But for the most part, winter's pretty chill. You feel like sometimes it could be colder, that it could, get a little bit more brisk out there. Give me a little bit of something. I bought this coat like 4 years ago, and I barely wear it because it's just never really that cold. Let me use it. Weather. Let me put that to the test because I haven't been able to much. Most of the time it's just perfect weather. And that's what you get when you move to California. You get pretty nice weather year round. Pretty nice. It's really hard to feel gloomy in California for the most part. Now when it does get gloomy and sad, you do feel it quite a bit. And it's like this is a new feeling. Like when it is winter and you get a solid week of no sun. That, as Californians, is so very, very rare. Like you rarely get that. Rarely you ever get like that much time without the sun. When it does happen, you're like, oh man, something about right now just not clicking, not feeling well. I mean, not like sick or anything like that. Just like, maybe not as positive as you would want to be. But you move on though. You move forward, and that's really what it's all about. I want to take this moment right here to clarify last week's episode, and not I'm not apologizing, but I might have come across a little bit of a little conspiracy theorist to some people. The fact that I talked about pyramids, the fact that I talked about thoughts, the fact that I talked about what's after human beings. I just want to make it very clear. Like, conspiracy theorists, I feel like it's a bad name. Like, really bad, because, most of them talk about Bigfoot, yeah, aliens, yeah, pyramids, yeah. But then, with that also comes very serious things like, politics and stuff like that, celebrity stuff, lizard people and stuff like that. Like, it gets really, really icky, and really messy. Now, I like to stick to fun stuff that really does not affect all that many people out there. Like, pyramids don't really affect people out there. Bigfoot, probably not either, right? Like, unless you were brutally attacked by a Bigfoot, I do apologize, but I feel like that number is extremely, extremely low. And I don't think I'm, out of my mind to, offend too many people about that. Bigfoot in that case. Or Nessie, right? Nessie, like, maybe he's terrorized a lot of fish and a lot of, ocean life. That guy, the Loch Ness Monster, but, as far as I know, they're not on Twitter, so I think I'm okay. And even at that, like, I mean, I would want Nessie to be alive. I don't know if you would, but I would. That'd be pretty sick. But I just want to clear it up. Like, I really don't partake in any wild conspiracy theories regarding politics or certain people or certain, like, organizations, really. I'm more of the fun side, like Bigfoot, Nessie, UFOs, and the pyramids. So like you're probably thinking like, oh, this guy probably believes in a QAnon or something like that. No, no. I rarely ever pay attention to what like that side of the conspiracy theory um, realm is. I really just kind of ignore that because as soon as I see certain names like politicians or things like other people saying all that, like I immediately lose interest. I'm like, all right, this is no longer fun. This has become too real. And if it's, maybe not like real per se, like, people that I know, but it's just like people are being affected by this in a way that probably I wouldn't want to be involved in or would want to ever talk about. So, no worries. Please don't have any hesitations. I don't believe in most things. I believe in the rare few, but also that's just a belief. Like I did believe in Santa Claus when I was a kid. So, kind of think of it like that. My obsession with Bigfoot and UFOs is like a child's with Santa Claus. It's like, oh, I want to believe it. I want to see him, but it's like after a while, it's like, well, maybe it's not real. You have that reality checks like, well, maybe I wasted my time. Now I'm not quite there yet with UFOs or the pyramids or Bigfoot or Nessie. Not there quite yet. But, only time will tell. And also, like, bringing up, like, scientific stuff like that, like evolution and all that, like, that just gets my brain going. Like, I'm just curious, like, you'd be surprised of, like, how many things, like, we just don't fully know about, but we can still draw, like, a conclusion just to kind of satisfy, like, the thought of the moment. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what if we... we're studying something, but we can't really make a concrete definition or a concrete hypotenuse that this is real or this is fake. And then we just kind of say, like, for the time being, this is what we'll go with. Like, can we really pinpoint, like, how old the universe is or how old the planet is to the T to be super accurate? Like, I don't think that we have that capability yet or that knowledge yet. We just kind of assume like, yeah, I mean, we got this data, we've got this. We haven't discovered everything yet, but what we got so far is it's this old. Or like dinosaurs died 65 million years ago. That's what our data to this date shows. If we keep digging, we'll probably find even more dinosaurs that were older than that or other creatures. We don't know, but at the time being, that's what we're going with. And that's fine. We can have that. But it's not like we can just slam the door shut and be like, all right, we covered that. It's over. Let's move on right now. What's up next? What's on the agenda? Open it back up. Find new discoveries and stuff like that. Do what we've always been born to do as human beings. Perceive, achieve, I don't know, keep going, I guess. Could you imagine if we weren't the dominant species on this planet? Imagine that. Like, everybody is like, mad about humans doing stuff to the planet, doing stuff to other animals, doing like, not like, being totally reckless, right? Like, I like to think of like the example of hunting. When people say like they hunt and I don't hunt, I've never hunted, I don't feel like I have the balls to hunt. But I'm going to say this on hunting. When people are like, you know what, man? Like they see that someone hunted a moose. Let's say somebody hunted a moose, right? And you'll get some people chatting and be like, well, you didn't really, wasn't a fair fight. You shot him from like, so many yards away. Why don't you tackle him with a dagger and see what happens? It's like, what, are you kidding? Like how is that fair? You understand that the moose possesses muscular strength that we do not possess? We built the bow and arrow to take down these beasts to eat them because we simply can't go toe to toe with them. It's not possible. In our biology and our physicality, it's just not possible. We suffer as humans as having, smaller muscles and smaller weaker athletic ability, while animals, for the most part, besides like a tiny animal, could outmuscle us. We as humans, we possess the brain. We have brain power. Imagine if it was flipped. What if moose were the dominant species on this planet, and they made guns, they made bows and arrows? Well, what would happen in that scenario? You just can't be like, oh, it's unfair, it's not natural. Well, I'm sorry, but we were born here too. I mean, like, just because we're smarter than all the others doesn't mean it's not fair and not natural. Like, last time I checked, humans are from Earth. That's the proof right now. Humans are from Earth. Maybe if some stupid study comes out, and I'm not like stupid as like not true or not credible, but just one day some wild study comes out like humans are not from Earth. We're actually from Giga 5 or Omega 3 or stuff like that. And then you're like, oh shoot, well why are we here? It's like, then it's not fair. But if we're all from Earth and we all had that chance, and just by the sliver of randomness, the sliver of how the life works, and we were bestowed knowledge and how we tackle problems with our brains and not our brute strength like other species do. I mean, that's just the way it happened. It's not unfair. It's just how it is. I've always been like kind of like like puzzled of how some people think that way. Like, it's unfair for me to go out to if I wanted to, if I had any desire, if I wanted something to eat and I didn't want to buy from a store, why can't I go out and shoot an elk and then, preserve the elk and live off that elk for like a year? It's one elk, right? Just one. And you don't pick like the younger elks. You pick like the older elk that's had a long, precious, beautiful life grazing in the wildlife. And, it would be probably in the most humane way possible. The worst is if you let the elk live long and then he gets mauled and ripped apart by a grizzly or a Kodiak in the most painful way possible. Like, nature is not pleasant. Nature is vile. Nature is violent. It is nasty. It's primal. It's raw. It's real. Like, you don't see a bear like tackling you and just stabbing you in the heart real quick and then wait for you to peacefully bleed out. That motherfucker will rip your face off when you're alive. And he will gnaw on your leg, like it's a bone for a dog. The bear knows no better. The bear doesn't feel like that you're in pain. Oh, I need to put him out of its misery. I mean, for the most part, we do that. Well, hunters will fire in like a super, vile spot where like essentially the animal like will feel it, and then, hopefully if the hunter is good enough, will bleed out pretty peacefully. Get sleepy and then, go to the big sleep. As humane as possible. As they possibly can. As we possibly know how to hunt. Right? It's not like they're killing. They're hunting. It's different. That's just kind of on my mind right now. Not saying that I would ever hunt. No, I'm too weak to do that. First of all, it's a lot of walking, which I'm not. I do that, but like, I'm also like very scared. I know like I sound like the most courageous man on the planet, but in like real life, like, I've been spooked by squirrels. And snakes freak me out too. I've seen deer in the wild up close, and I'm like, holy shit, like, where the fuck is the mom? I don't want to be near the mom because what if they try to stampede me or something like that? I've seen bears in the wild, not like super up close, but I'm like, holy shit, we gotta leave, because if the mom or if that's a male that's violent, then we're screwed. We're effed. But, we had to do it at some point. Humans had to survive one way or the other before, hunting and gathering. Before farming and all that was hunting and gathering. You just had to hunt and gather food to survive. It's just how we are. That's how we thrive. Communities, groups of people. That's how we live. You go out to, a restaurant. Usually you're with your family or another person. Sometimes you can be by yourself, but for the most part, family or friends and all that. Just, the camaraderie of being together. The togetherness is what makes us human, I guess. And other animals do that too. Like you get wildebeests, elephants, hippos, rhinos. Lions have prides. Hyenas have packs, I think. Every animal on this planet is meant to be social, I guess, to their brain's capacity. Like, I'm pretty sure, I don't know if, animals could, communicate with one another. I'm not sure about that. I know dolphins can and humans can. So can chimps. But a lion, when they're roaring, are they, saying words? Are they shouting? Are they, saying, get the fuck out of here, hyena? Or are they just making intimidating sounds? I don't know what's happening. When a dog barks at me, is it trying to have a conversation? How was your day, bro? How was it? How was your date? Or are they just in their own dog brain? Are they just saying they know that this sound will get him to do this? This sound will know that I like him. This sound knows that it will let him know that I'm not in the mood to play right now. I'm not in the mood to go fetch a ball or a stick. I don't know. Remember as a kid when you would watch cartoons and they would try to put it in the perspective of a dog's eyes or the dog's vision? I've always thought that kind of was bullshit. How can we see what a dog sees or imagine what a dog sees like? I'm talking about they always picture a dog in the cartoons. He sees all in black and white. His hearing is all high-pitched and, the slightest little ring, sets him off and all that. I've seen that a couple times in a couple of cartoons. I'm like, that can't be fucking real. That cannot be real. I mean, it would be cool. It would be interesting if that's how it really was. I'm no dog expert. I would like to see some data on that. But, maybe it's just to show kids, back in the day, dogs see things different than humans do. I don't know. I mean, do bats even see? I know they have eyes, but can they really see? The expression, he's blind as a bat, or she is blind as a bat? What? I mean, they can't be, fully blind, right? They gotta be able to see, shapes and blurs and, figures, right? I know, the bats have, sonar, too, that the waves bounce off the object, go back into their brain, and they know, oh, I can't fly there, I'll fucking hit a rock, or I'll hit I can't fly that deep into the cave, because I don't really know what's out there, because my sonar don't reach that far. I don't know. Truly don't know. I know if they're completely blind or not. I'm sure they might be, if that expression holds up. That's been going on for, years. He's blind as a bat. Really? Bats are blind? Had no idea. Or, how does a spider see? It's got, 8 eyes. How does that work? Why does a spider have 8 legs? Why is it different than an insect? And what do insects think of spiders? I know that spiders are, pretty key to the food chain if you think about it. They kill a lot of pests and bugs, like flies. They love killing flies in their webs, which is great because flies are annoying. The most useless, thing on this planet is probably a fly if you think about it. Other than me, it's probably a fly. But yeah, if we didn't have any flies, spiders would probably die, right? Other bugs would probably die. And I feel the food chain is really, really it's pretty perfect, I would say. for the moment. And then if you don't have spider, or if you don't have flies, you probably don't have spiders. And if you don't have spiders, maybe lizards die or rats die or whoever eats spiders. Like, they die, someone else dies, and then it's all fucked up and everything is all screwy. Like, imagine if there were no meat on this planet. And if everybody was a vegan, everybody ate plants, then I think that we would ultimately adapt to more plants. I feel like this is just a thought that if human beings were the only species of animals on this planet, right? Like there was no cows, there was no lamb, no alligator, right? Just plants and insects, and spiders too, because they're not insects. We would have to adapt to just eating plants all day, and eating obviously the ones that we can eat. But what if that one runs out? What if we got to eat something that's not really digestible to our system? We would have to evolve quickly. And in that process, people will die because we can't eat every plant out there. Like, we can eat lettuce, yeah, sure. Spinach, yeah. Kale, yeah. Carrots, beets, we can eat all that. That's all fine. But you can't digest grass. You can't digest weeds. As much as you see cows eat it and everything else eat it, you as a human being at this point in time, you cannot digest grass. That's a fact. Don't try it, kids. Do not eat grass or weeds. Do not do that. It will not be good. But for the most part, we can eat a lot of meat. We can eat a lot of meat. We can eat cows, lambs, sharks, lots of fish, calamari. We can pretty much eat a lot, if not almost all of the meat out there. Do we do it? No. We kind of have boundaries. Like, cow, yeah, fuck yeah. Sheep, or not sheep, lamb, fuck yeah. Horse, hell no. You cannot eat a horse. Dog, no way. Cat, no, you can't eat that. What about snake? Sure you can. Frog? Hell yeah, you can. Snail? Absolutely. That's a cuisine. That's high eating, high-end eating right there. You can eat that all you want. I've always been wanting to try new foods too. Like venison or duck or quail or shark. Just to see what they taste like. How do other cultures consume other food or other animals? Because, not every country or culture lives off the basis of, cattle, chicken, pork, and, I guess you could say deer as well, venison. Other countries eat, boar, bison, a lot of gamey meats, and I've never really had too many gamey meats out there. I once had a bison burger at a restaurant. That was wild. Definitely tastes a little different than beef. Pretty similar, but you could taste the difference there. It's not terrible, but it's like, I'm so used to cow, and I'm like, this ain't cow. I like it, but I'm like, I'm just so used to cow. What if this is too extreme for me? What if my stomach cannot handle it? And what if I reject it? My body's like, no, I fucking hate this, and vomit, shit, whatever. But I'm down for it though. I want to experience that. I want to try venison. I've heard that's really good as well. I've heard some people eat veal, which is like a baby animal. I think it's like a baby deer, a baby cow. I'm going to look it up right now because I don't want to, get it incorrect and have people at my throat. Veal. That's veal. I can't spell. Is it V-E-E-L? Nope. V-I-E-L? Veal? Yeah, I cannot spell. Great. But I've heard of it. And I've heard it's a delicacy. I've heard it's, pretty good. But I've also heard, people eat caviar, too. which are fish eggs, if I'm correct. I've never had it myself. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's accepted. Like, people like don't get really mad if you eat fish eggs. Even like vegetarians eat fish sometimes, right? Sometimes they eat fish or chicken, so it's like it can't be that bad, right? If you're gonna cut out steak, but you're gonna eat fish eggs, and if I'm neither a vegetarian or a vegan, I mean, what the hell, right? I'm sure I can try it. You wonder if vegans are fully happy as much as I am with only eating plants and shit like that. Not shit, that's kind of offensive. Plants and other stuff like that. Stuff, that's what I meant to say. I feel like a vegan person can't, maybe not can't, but I'm pretty sure, the alternatives for vegan stuff, like meat substitutes, have gotten better over time. I'm pretty sure, a vegan burger at McDonald's is pretty baller. Really baller, if you think about it. They'll probably even say it even tastes better than beef, which kind of draws a concern to me. It's well, what's in that? What's in that? Because fast food, believe it or not, they probably want their entire menu to be vegan. Why? So they don't have to buy beef. They can just cook up a patty in a lab, and send it out like that. We'll put this, and make it solid and all that. That way we don't have to buy premium beef. If you think of fast food, it's highly, it feels, I guess you could say, sometimes it feels very manufactured. And what better to manufacture your own patty in a lab or in a kitchen, I guess, I'll be polite, and serve that. Not having to buy beef or have cows slaughtered to make into beef. Why not just make it yourself? It'd be a whole lot cheaper, and if they can make it taste even better than an actual beef patty, well, that actually kind of scares me. Now, not all vegan substitutes I've heard that taste very good. A lot of them don't taste all that great. And if you want to be healthier, you'll probably stay away from the fast food options and just be stick to the the ones at Whole Foods or something like that. Whole Foods has got a lot of that stuff. Whole Foods, I've never been. I feel like I would be not allowed. But, that's just, I'll probably go and be yo, am I accepted? Can I walk in here? I eat meat. I eat fatty food. I love potato chips. Can I come in? And if they say no, then I'll be okay, cool, fine, whatever. That's your policy. If you don't think I'm high enough to eat or shop at Whole Foods, I'll happily leave. I'm not here to fight you. Just wanted to make sure that I'm okay to walk in. But my point is, there's just something about eating junk food and stuff made by an animal that kind of makes me sane. And I know I've never even tried or attempted to be vegan. There's honestly nothing that I've ever seen that's made me want to be vegan. And I know people who are vegans have this story or this coming of age or this, moment in their lives where they're like, I'm never going to eat a meat again. Which, I've never had that, but if you have, then, that's your freedom to do it. But I feel like you are still human, though. You're still human. You probably still want to have a steak or a cheeseburger or a hot dog or dairy, for that matter. Now, I know we have nut substitutes for dairy. We have oat milk. That's not nut. Almond milk, oat milk, soy milk, which has kind of been not on the same level, I feel like, as almond milk or oat milk now. Soy used to be the top alternative to milk. Everything was about soy milk. Not everything, but it was always the most common substitute to actual cow milk. And now it's oat and almond. I've never tried either. But, you can't really milk an almond or a oat. So, why not just call it almond juice or oat juice? You still want to call it milk because it feels right to you, Which I get it. You want it to feel as natural as possible. I feel like, you know, they kind of make things in the form of beef or in the form of an animal product. Like I've seen like vegan steaks, vegan patties, vegan chicken. It's like your brain wants that stuff. It wants it, but you're rejecting it. Like, so you're creating things to make it sound like you're eating beef or chicken, but you're really eating beans or plants or, something else. So, I mean, hey, I don't know. I'm not a vegan. I'm not trying to bash on vegans either. I'm just saying, like, maybe there's something there that, is like, I want to say not natural, but like you're craving something there. Like you're craving a cheeseburger and you don't want to eat a cheeseburger, but I'm going to make this look like one so I can trick my brain into thinking that I'm having a cheeseburger. Right? That's what I'm kind of feeling there. And I just feel like, a good old cheeseburger, a natural beef cheeseburger can lift up and make somebody's day. It could really make somebody's day. I don't know. That's just what I think. I don't know. I don't know a whole lot of people who are vegan, and they seem very happy with their lives, but, I doubt it. I doubt that they have the same enjoyment as somebody like me who just scarfs down meat every day. It's crazy how much meat we eat, right? We eat a lot of meat, a ton of meat. I mean, every day in my life, everything we cook for dinner, there's going to be meat in it. Every single day. That's why Lent is so hard for me. So hard. You would not imagine how much meat that we consume. Don't get me wrong, I love it. I love meat. But it's crazy how much we eat of it. That way, when Lent does come, can't eat meat on Friday, it's like, oh shit, well, what am I going to eat? It's crazy. Then you got to, I resort to dairy or fish. Where I'll get maybe a cheese pizza, either from like a store or like an actual pizza place, like a frozen pizza. Or, you can make like fish sticks, tater tots, something, maybe fries, something with, what to do with fries. You can make nachos without meat, quesadillas, stuff like that. And it's always like, it's not meat, but it's still good. Like, you wouldn't catch me making like a caprese salad for dinner during Lent. It's just, I just don't feel like I ate a meal. Or I'm not going to house nuts all day. As much as I love nuts, I love almonds, peanuts, pistachios, cashews. I'm a big nut guy. I believe in nuts. Like, nuts are great. But I'm like, I'm not going to just live off of nuts. I'm craving meat. And, that's just kind of part of our biology, I feel like. Everybody, we do have canine teeth, for a reason, I believe, to shred meat and eat meat. And we have molars, too, to grind down not only meat, but also plants. And you can eat a balanced diet of salad, bread, maybe a potato, and meat, and you'll be fine. You'll be good. You'll be great. It's not like super bad food, but it's pretty balanced, right? I don't know. That's just what I think. I'm no nutritionist, but I've eaten a lot of food, and I think that I can boil it down to what makes me feel good. Yes, I can have a salad. Of course I'll have a salad. Yes, and I'll feel good eating it. I'll feel good eating it, and I'll feel good how my body feels when you eat it. Then I'll have a steak. I'll be like, yes, I feel good. I feel like I'm eating protein and all that. I'm feeling good. And then I'll have an ice cream. Not because it's good for my body, but it's good for my cravings, my brain, I guess you could say. Your body only craves because of your brain. You don't really need ice cream. Sure, it's got dairy, but you need that endorphin or that sweetness or something that your brain is wanting. You got to satisfy that, or else you're gonna be like, oh, I didn't get my this, I didn't get that, I need this, I need that. It's like what? Well, what do you do then? Sure, again, you can have the vegan alternative, which I'm sure is now perfected, but I don't think that it's going to be better than like natural ice cream. There's no way that vegan ice cream is going to be better than actual ice cream. It's like I can't eat frozen yogurt because I feel like it's just a rip-off of ice cream. I actually really hate frozen yogurt. And I don't mean to be controversial. I just don't like it. I've tried it a couple times. You gotta add a lot of shit to it, like gummies and nuts and fruit and shit like that. It's like, bro, you don't even need that with ice cream. You just get a scoop of ice cream and you're good. It's why do we go to this extreme to make something that tastes good but needs all these absolutely ridiculous attachments like frozen yogurt? Why? We have ice cream. We're good. We're fine. Just eat in moderation. Don't eat so much ice cream. Then you'll be good. Make it a treat. Satisfy that craving and then just move on. It'll be fine. You'll be fine. I think we'll all be fine. I want to talk to you guys about something that has kind of been irritating me quite a bit. I'm a man, right? I shower. I like to be clean. I like to be fresh, smell good. I love it. And for my entire life, I've been using Dove soap because I honestly can't stand actual soap. I don't know what it is, but I absolutely cannot stand the waxy feel when you use a basic soap. I don't know what is in Dove to make you not feel like all waxy. Maybe it's because of the fact that they add lotion and all that, but I can't use basic ass soap. I hate it. I've been a Dove guy for my entire life, essentially. So the new Dove, I mean, maybe not the new Dove, but Dove now is kind of robbing me of my cleanliness. I don't think. Dove has always had that Dove print on their soap bars. For as long as I can remember, maybe 20 years ago, 15 years ago, they've been having that Dove print. And it's always been like a nice touch. It adds like, this is fancy soap. Like when I open the box, I'm like, this is fancy soap. This is Dove. The way that the bar is shaped, the Dove print in it, the soft box, the soft feeling of the soap too. I feel like I'm like getting the creme de la creme of the soaps out there. And I feel, you feel fresh, you feel good, you smell good. The moisturization is also a nice touch. You get what you pay for. Feels good. But now, this Dove print in the soap is so big now that the soap bar is just disintegrating and melting faster than ever before. It's unbelievable. Like, it's almost like comparing it to when you get a bag of chips. And you're like, this is a king-size bag, a family-size bag. You open it, and it's like a regular-size bag. It's like, where's all the chips? This is just air. And I get that the air is used in those bags of chips to preserve the chips because, frankly, potatoes probably shouldn't be lasting all that long. They probably should not be. Should be going bad within a day or two, but potato chips can last up to what, 2-3 weeks? Stay fresh? Maybe? I'm no scientist, but I could put that to the test if you guys wanted to. Do an experiment, get a lab coat and everything, and really test how long a potato chip can go without tasting bad, stale, moldy. I don't even know if chips mold. I don't even know. Bread does. They say that bread should not be in a dark place, that the sunlight actually helps fend off the mold. That's what I've heard. But, there's a bread box, which lets in no light. So it was like an invention to make sure that you buy more bread. I mean, maybe that wasn't the intention, but looking back at it now, it seems like it just makes the bread go bad faster. That way you got to buy more bread. I don't know. But anyway, back to Dove. I swear to God, this happens more. I remember a bar of soap would last me much longer than it does now. Even when I start using it, I opened one today. Today I opened one. And I could have swore it already felt like so small after one use. And I don't use it like a whole lot. I don't use like a over amount of soap. I use a pretty good amount of soap. But I feel like just today especially, this motherfucker, this bar soap was already getting so small. I was like, what is happening? Now, maybe it's not just the imprint of the Dove that is so deep that nowadays is just like, well, I mean, we just got less soap now. It might also be the recipe for the soap. Maybe the soap is now more meltable. Maybe it just doesn't last as long now because of a new recipe, new ingredient. I don't know. But I definitely think that the Dove does hurt a lot because some bars, man, it goes about maybe like a quarter of an inch in or half an inch in. I'm actually shocked how deep that print of the Dove goes into. As iconic as it is, maybe we should ditch the Dove print on soap for Dove. I just feel like it would be a better bargain, a lot better purchase, I guess. I wouldn't feel gypped like I do when I buy a bag of chips. I don't want that feeling anymore. I don't. It's almost like, comparing it to, not only the chips, but like now, what's it called? Like pretty much any item that's in like a bag now. Cheez-Its too. My God. They have gypped me out of Cheez-Its now. Goldfish too. Other snacks. I remember when Snickers bars were a pretty decent size. Now they're like either, pretty mediocre or king size. They like completely got rid of like the basic size of Snickers bars. And I'm just like, what's going on here? What are we doing? Why are we doing this? Is it because the companies are so greedy? I don't know. Truly, I have no idea. I wish I knew, though. But we would never know. Why would we know? Then we would stop buying it, and it's like, well, we need you to buy because we want to keep making money. It's like, bring back the regular size Snickers bars, man. I remember when the Twix got smaller. The Twix bar used to be a lot bigger than it is today. A lot bigger. Not like thickness, but longer. And it was a great candy. It still is a great candy, but I just feel like it's not as good. Also, candy to me now, chocolate candy, certain chocolate candies have not tasted as good as it used to. Maybe it's because my palate has gotten a little bit more sophisticated. Maybe I'm just older. I don't know. But I remember a Crunch bar used to taste amazing back then. Back in the day, a Crunch bar was my favorite bar. And something, I think it was the transition from foil to plastic. Something happened along the way. Maybe it was the foil and the plastic, but it just never tasted as fresh as it used to be, or as sweet as it once was. And it saddened me, really did. And I love the way they had the crunch in the foil too. It was a nice touch. It felt like like somebody actually packaged it with like love. And like, I don't know why, but it was like actual foil too, like not like a little like a piece of paper with a shiny metal surface, right? It was actual foil. And I was like, wow, this feels great. This is my favorite chocolate bar. One of my favorite parts was like removing the foil and eating the chocolate bar. That was just like so rewarding as a kid. It was like opening up a present, That's what it felt like to me. Now it's just tear open the plastic and get your chocolate bar and eat it. And what is covering it up? Plastic. They always say that plastic is not good for human beings. I don't know the reasons why, but you know how there's like bottles with like BPA free? Like, what the fuck is BPA? Is that in like my glasses? Is that in my my computer, my TV, my remote, my gaming controller? Like, should I not be in contact with this stuff? Like I know I shouldn't be. I mean, if a water bottle has a label that says BPA free, and I'm drinking out of that, right? The water is going into that bottle and being, drunken and ingested by me. Well, I mean, like, is that all that's bad? in the bottle? Is that all? Is it only BPA? What else is in there? GPA? Like what else is bad in these water bottles? And why do they have to put that BPA free on there? Like something must have happened. Somebody must have gotten sick and maybe sued a company and like, okay, we got to put BPA free on the bottle now. Why? Because someone got sick and they got really messed up, and might have been because of the BPA in the water bottle, and like now we got to put a big label on there saying it's BPA free, that nobody will get hurt by it. I mean, it's insane. Truly, I the way we make things too. It kind of like, we used to make things super, like with high-end quality, right? Cars, for example. Cars nowadays are so flimsy. They're so flimsy. It's not like the material looks like metal, but it's like hard plastic, like aluminum almost. Like it's like you can easily dent a car with like just a bad little tap by another person, like a dent right there, a dent. Now, granted, I'm pretty sure like the material used to make a car now is safer, because I can only imagine you getting into like a car wreck with like a car made of like solid steel, right? Like old cars were like made of this big heavy steel and metal that if you got into a car crash could be very, very terrible. Because I know that now cars today are made to like kind of like crumple up and like I guess kind of like absorb a lot of that energy when they crumple up, and make sure to not like crumple too much, that way you die. Because if you're in like a solid steel car, like a metal car like back in the day, and you get into a head-on crash, I mean, like, first of all, the airbag technology back then probably wasn't as good as it was today. Also, like, it's going to be like a legit like stop, because it's a stronger metal, right? Like, you see cars today that look like so wrecked and so destroyed, and some of them like are really destroyed, but also some are like just because the cars are made that way to have that kind of impact, to take that impact and to look like they're absolutely destroyed. But then again, you're not going to want to drive that disgusting ass car because it looks terrible. That's why you got to get it fixed and all that. But like, cutting corners and making it like stuff look cheaper and all that, it's just insane. I mean, I was watching a documentary actually last week, and it was called American Factory. And it was about this Chinese company that that bought out a factory in the U.S. in Dayton, Ohio, and it was called Fuyao Glass, and they manufactured glass for like cars and automobiles, like windshields and all that, and they manufactured those, and they created them, and they put them on they made so many, and they ship them to like, Chevy, Toyota, Ford, and all that, and that's how they made their money, was just making like windshields and all that, and glass. And they wanted to see if they could implement like a cultural, like, not a change, but like a cultural, like collaboration between American workers and Chinese workers, and how that would work. And it was insane. It was crazy, because you saw like how much American workers depend on having a weekend, having paid time off, having holidays, working 8 hours, and if they're, if you have to work overtime, that you get paid for that overtime. Like how you would, how Americans work today. Like, we all kind of, we expect the company to give us benefits, give us paid time off at a certain point, 40 hours a week, safe conditions at work, both physically and mentally, no harassment, and, just a safe and upbeat workplace. That's like kind of like where our standards are, and like how we approach like, going into jobs and all that. Because we're spending a lot of time over there, and like, we can't just be miserable the entire time. That's not a way to live your life. To be miserable at your job and just be like, I hated like my life here, and that just shaves years off your life, just being miserable and stressed out. Like, you don't want that. You don't want that. But that's how we're conditioned, and that's how we think that when we approach a job, that we kind of expect that. weekend, paid time off, holidays, 40 hours a week, overtime, benefits, all that stuff. The Chinese, though, they don't expect any of that. I mean, those guys, the Chinese, first of all, are in this documentary are like incredible workers. They don't give a shit about safety, about holidays, about weekends, overtime. They just don't stop working. But that's part of their culture, though, because in the documentary, they have to educate the Chinese like, this is American now, right? This is different. People are very much encouraged to do well, and they reward Americans a lot for doing work. I'm assuming from that explanation, Chinese are not, brought up on confidence and brought up on, good job, or you did good today, or rewards like that. They just focus on working, like doing the task and doing it as fast as possible, and not care about at all for safety. And I'm like, dude, like, all right, like legit, like they're better than us. Like they work better, but like that's just their mentality. Like it's just like shut up and work, essentially. And it's like, dude, I mean, I don't know like how that company's doing now. I know that documentary is like a little bit older. I think it's like maybe 2019 when it was like released. Actually, let me check it out right now because I don't want to botch it and get it wrong. Because it was a really good documentary. I mean, like it was really good. 2019, yeah, 2019, and it was really well done. But it just kind of shows like the difference between cultures and how we see work and how Chinese people see work. How Chinese executives are like, and owners and presidents are like, you know what, we got to cut these people because, yeah, I know they have jobs and they got families, but like, whatever. They're not helping us do our work correctly. They're not as efficient as Chinese workers are. They're not motivated enough. They want to unionize, and unions in China are like pretty much non-existent. So it's like, I mean, like, and you see like people fighting, like a Chinese worker would fight with an American worker, like on stuff like that. Like, yeah, you can't do that. Like, this is like totally not safe, and they have no idea what that means. Safety is like not even a thought. These guys were, because what the broken glass would like be filtered into this like one little area, and it'd be like different colored glasses, and they got to separate each colored glass. And these guys were just going out with like the guys were saying like they had no safety glasses. They had non-rip resistant gloves or pants, and they were just going at it. They didn't care. They didn't care about their safety at all. And it was just like, wow. I mean, we are so like American workers are so like privileged and soft, like very, very, very privileged, very soft compared to the Chinese workers. Like, Jesus, man, now I know why like so many like dangerous jobs go there, because that's just their entire mentality is like, who gives a fuck if you're safety? Just do the job and you can have a job. At the bottom line, like they just want a job, right? I feel like so do Americans too, but also with that job, we expect to have a life, and we expect to have safety and to have mental stability and mental, maybe not mental health, but like assuring that the job is not going to destroy our fucking, will to live. Like, I mean, I'm joking around, and I'm laughing, but it's really just bizarre of how different our countries are and our cultures are. And, it's kind of, it's crazy, it was a first for me. Like, I've never really experienced of how, you hear rumors like of like sweatshops and all that in China and like how bad it is. And like seeing this, it's like, damn, these guys just don't care. And like their conferences in China are like so upbeat and so enthusiastic, and like when you get to the job, it's almost like hell, honestly. They were complaining like Americans only work 8 hours a week. They get weekends off when we're super busy and we got to work every day, over 12 hours every day. It's like, that's just drilled into their brain. Like, that's how we are. That's how we operate. And they just go by it. It's crazy. But it really like enlightens you, and it really shows you the differences between different cultures. And I think that that's like kind of like what I was wanting to see. Like, we're all human beings, right? We're all people. We all are pretty much the same. Ideas, ideologies, ways of life, belief systems, the belief in like human life is precious and all that, and we got to have human rights for the most part. And other countries they're just not totally on board with that. They're just not. And it's like, it's weird to see that. It's super, super weird to see that. How it's done in other countries. Like, you go to Europe, man. They have, some parts of Europe have like, we're taking 2 hours off in the middle of the day to have a nap, to make lunch and to have a nap. They have structured their societies to straight up stop working for 2 hours every day and do nothing. And they're still fully functional. Like, they don't, there's like no dip in the economy sometimes, for the most part. If it is, it's not by much. I mean, their society is not falling apart because they have siestas and they take breaks like that. Like, I'm pretty sure it would have by now, but they've worked it into a way where it doesn't harm them at all. I mean, think about that. That's great. I mean, and it's not just other places, like restaurants sometimes do that too. Like Chick-fil-A, as much as I love them, they are missing out on a full day of business on Sunday. They're closed on Sunday, and they're like, we don't need to be open. It's like, what? Like, any other company would have been like, we are open 7 days a week. We'll get holidays, a couple holidays, sure, couple, but for the most part, we're working every day. If we have to close early because of a holiday, we'll push it to as late as we can, but we'll be open every day. Chick-fil-A, you get Sundays off, you get Christmas off, and they're still one of the most popular restaurants in America and the most profitable restaurants in America. It's insane. It's insane. But they're able to do it. They are. People are. The lines for Chick-fil-A are insane. And they're not even open every day. Right? But that kind of like gets your mind going like, well, I got to go Saturday because I can't go Sunday. So maybe that's what it is. Maybe they expect like Sunday is going to be like a double day, I guess, a double shift essentially, because everybody got to get their Chick-fil-A before Sunday or else they can't get it. They got to wait till Monday. It's insane. It's crazy. But, they've got it down to a science, how it works, stuff like that. And everybody operates differently. Everybody kind of figures out, like, do we really need to be open this many days? Can we sacrifice this? Can we, be a little bit smarter with our money and what we do and how we, prioritize stuff? They just got smart people, man. They got smart people who know what they're doing. It's always the dumb people that, when companies go under, when stuff just does not happen efficiently and on time, and there's money issues and stuff like that, and supply issues, and like, oh, we fucked up, and then poof, business is done. Some like Chick-fil-A can afford to take a day off and just be cool. They have no interest in opening and working on Sundays, from what I know, and it's like they're still alive and still kicking in one of the bigger fast food chains in this country. I mean, they must be doing something better, like a lot better than McDonald's or Taco Bell or anybody else. It's like, it's crazy. I know we talked nothing about sports, but I wanted to save the sports for next week when the NBA playoffs fully come back. There's been a couple play-in games that have been pretty decent, pretty good, but I'm more interested into talking about the actual playoffs themselves. So next week we'll have that. I do plan to see Sonic the Hedgehog 2 this weekend. If the plans don't fall through, I should have a review up by next Thursday, obviously. The only thing is I kind of hate going to see these movies because Sonic is a kid's movie. I mean, it's nerds like us want to see it, that we played Sonic games and all that. We want to see that too, but it's like, it's mainly a kid's movie, and like, I saw the first one in theaters. I'm like, I kind of don't want to see the second one in theaters because there's just so many fucking kids yelling and shit. And I don't want to I don't want to do this anymore. But we probably will see it. I probably will see it with a couple friends and review it next week. That's the plan, at least for right now. So that should be up next week too. But again, thank you guys for listening. Thank you for watching. And remember, you can find this podcast on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all under Intelligent Moron with Alex Silva. This drops every Thursday. Don't forget to like, subscribe, rate, review, all that stuff. Share the podcast. If you want to send me a DM of an idea of a topic, whatever you want, the social medias are all linked in the description. In every form of whatever you listen or watch it, it should all be there. So give it a shot. Tell your friends, tell your family, whatever. Tell them to listen. And thank you for listening and thank you for watching. And I will see you guys back